Welcome, all you gals, ghouls, and creatures that go bump, bump, bump in the night. Welcome to Faction Focus Soulbright Gravelords, where we talk about the Battle Tome Soulblight Gravelords, the newest iteration of the Legions of Nagash Redux. So joining us today will be Teacher Mikey, who's back from exile, returning from the dead,
Yeah,
and our
it's
Lord and
alive.
Savior
I'm
Nagash will be joining us
alive.
today. He will be watching over us as we talk about his slaves.
But
So he's gonna be here.
before anything else, please remember to like and subscribe to our following social media accounts and streaming
Yes, they are
platforms
here, right there.
right there, up there, so
Yes,
I
yes.
can stay alive and not and be undead.
Yes,
Wait,
remember, like, if we get enough likes and subscribes, Teacher Mikey finally gets paid. So, if you want Teacher Mikey to not starve to death, please do like and subscribe.
hello
Yes, hello,
Eric.
Eric.
Thank you for
Congratulations
joining
on
us.
you finishing your work for October.
Cool, cool,
Okay,
cool.
so tonight on Faction Focus Friday, we're gonna talk about what war game fits your lifestyle. If you want to do Warhammer Age of Sigmar the full game, or if you want to do Warcry, why this faction is for you or not if you're a loser, and how you can get started fast, and how you can scale up into a gigantic undead horde of muhahaha. So first of all, before we actually start, for everyone who ordered the Warhammer Day Anasta Malkorian Vampire Lord with us, you will be receiving it tomorrow. Yes, it arrives tomorrow afternoon, so you can have it shipped by Sunday. So we're actually getting it on time. This is amazing. We never
Nice.
get the last time we got stuff coming in on time was when the Drukari Codex for 8th Ed came in a week ahead of time, and we weren't allowed to sell it yet because it wasn't released yet. And I was like, what? The Drukari is so fast, they got here before the release date.
Oh,
So
change has come. Change has come. Finally,
yes, but
we're
it's awesome. She's here. She's here. Like I just have to pick it up. So great. There is no bias here, Jonathan. Only objective truth. Only objective truth.
This is a super nice looking model. Yes, that's a nasty looking vampire. 3 out of 10
Yeah.
for that spooky pun. Thank you.
Yeah, notice na no, like she has abs. Like they actually sculpted the abs on this one. Like holy shit. Like
Oh, and I can see the
they went all out.
ribs.
Yeah.
The more important part is we see the ribs.
No, those aren't her ribs. Those are like someone else's ribs.
Gross.
And this does come with the option to be holding a baby dragon, which is the option I'm doing because like baby dragon. And yes, so Michael did go yabai with the last shipment drop.
Oh my
Like he
gosh.
single-handedly paid for the salaries of the staff.
Bless you and your generosity, Mr. Michael Lim. No? You are the reason we are still doing this. Part of the
Yes.
reason. Everyone who's been watching and
Yeah.
ordering
And yes,
with us.
please keep ordering, please keep watching, please help keep us alive. And Michael will actually be joining us for Faction Focus Night Hunt next week.
Yeah,
So
finally, we're having him over.
yes.
See, if you keep tuning in, you might find yourself on on the
Yes.
show. Because we love
Yeah,
you.
we'd be happy to host you guys. Like as long as you're not a filthy Lumineth player. So first
Yeah,
of all,
Harbor.
let's big army or skirmish combat. Teacher Mikey, take it away.
Okay, so this is our mandatory pre-primer on what kind of gamer you are or what kind of game you want to get into. You probably heard this so many times already, but let's quickly go through it. Big army or skirmish combat. You're gonna go big army, main Age of Sigmar game. If you like lots of models, you want spectacle, you want diorama set pieces, playing with huge terrain and cinematic stuff happening on a large scale. Go with big army. If you have the time, you get to play with big models like that. like really epic scale models. If you're into big things and big explosions, big magic, go for big army. Right? But if you're more into the smaller battles, fast skirmishes, and there's also a lot of cinematic things that can happen in small scale battles. Probably you could get into Warcry. It's a small time investment. You don't need to paint as many models, but there's not really a which one is better than the other. It's more about which one is better for you and your lifestyle, and most importantly, your budget. So the
I
good
will
thing
have to
about
disagree on that. For this particular army, Warhammer Age of Sigmar is objectively better because you can bring Nagash, which is the
yes,
important thing.
and big zombie dragons. Okay,
Yes,
you can play big zombie dragons, but then again, you can also play with those big zombie dragons in Warcry campaigns as an AI enemy. So
but can
it's
you
a plus
bring
minus.
Nagash?
As a prop.
That's
But yeah,
that is sad. Like he is disapproving right now. So
whatever your choice, as long as you buy from us, we're good. You're good.
indeed.
We're cool. Okay, moving on. Pachow.
So all right, who are the Soulblight Gravelords? In the ancient days of the world that was before GW decided to nuke their own setting. Um, in the land of Nehekhara, which was a blessed land, there was Nagash, who wanted to take over all the shit because he was angsty for not being the king. So he murdered his brother, and then through hard work and dedication, he learned the secrets of magic from some Drukhari prisoners. Well, sorry, Druchi prisoners. So he
Druchi. Okay.
yes, he
No, that.
got some dark elves. He made them teach him magic. Though in the beginning he had no talent for it, but through sipag at tiyaga, he not only learned to use magic but created his own school of magic. Like this guy, like oh my gosh, he's such an idol. Then like note Cetra did not know magic. Cetra was dead. So fuck Cetra. Um Cetra's dead. So yeah, we know what happened when Cetra fought Nagash. Cetra lost. So so Nagash eventually became a great lord of undeath, and while he was defeated the first time through shenanigans and weird plot writing, um the first time he was defeated, his books were taken by the royal court of Lamia, where through a bunch of backstabbing, death dealing, etc., Neferata became the first of the vampires by making a flawed version of Nagash's elixir, and was later and some interference from Arkan, who was in love with her. Yeah, may romance thing sila ni Arkan. So eventually we got Neferata, who became the first vampire and eventually spawned all of the vampire dynasties. Many,
Ooh,
many, many, many years later in the world uh, that came after in the world of Sigmar.
she's kind of like the queen of the damned.
Yeah, she is the queen
Love
of
it.
the damned. Like she's the entire queen of the damned thingy here.
Love
So
it.
here they basically ported over some of the old vampires from the old world like Neferata and Manfred, who sucks. So Neferata naman is still the queen of the vampires, but she became the Mortarch of Blood under Nagash. And then Manfred became the Mortarch of Night, leading the Legion of Night. There's also Arkan, who leads the Legion of Sacrament, but he lost the Legion of Sacrament and he now just commands the OCR Bone Reapers because unexplained GW reasons. And you also have a lot of minor. Oh, who do we blame for Manfred? We blame Manfred for Manfred, or probably whoever raised him.
Well, whoever
Like
he is, it's one of the coolest names I've ever seen in fantasy. I mean, you must be a Chad to be named Manfred. I mean, it's got man
he's kind of an
and double
asshole, but
and. Okay.
So anyway,
Me-
there are a bunch of smaller dynasties, like the Avangori and the Virkos and the Castelli, who also do their own thing and have their old who have their own shtick as they split off from the main bloodlines. And yes, Michael is saying that Manfred's ancestor was better, and that is Vlad right here. Yes, that's Vlad von Karstein. He is definitely better, and he is like the Gomez Adams of the Warhammer fantasy setting. So yeah, he
Nice
is.
analogy. Nice
Yeah, he loves
analogy.
his wife. So building and painting Soulblight Gravelords, easy. You see this? This is Skeleton Horde. This is your new best friend. You will be
Instant
buying like
instant army.
yeah, you'll be buying 5 of these at least for your army. Honestly, this entire line can be painted with contrast paints aside from the metallics. So contrast will be your friend when you're doing Soulbright Gravelords, even when you're painting these zombies, which I haven't started yet. But when you do start painting the zombies, they are gonna be very contrastable. So you can do some yellowish skin, some greenish skin, so various states of decay, etc. And
How many pots of this are you gonna go through for an entire army?
I've gone through 3 so far, and I still have 40 skeletons.
So yeah, buy a lot.
Yeah,
Buy a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of this.
Pero this makes everything so much easier. This makes it like one coat skeleton done. The older skeletons were easier, but like the newer skeletons are harder to paint because they do have their armor, they do have the robes, etc. It's not all skeleton horde. The old skeletons were like skeleton horde done. Now you actually have to put in effort, and it takes me like for FF14 players out there, one entire Praetorian run to finish one.
I do not understand
Praetorium
what that
run.
means,
Yeah.
but seems
Yeah,
like a long time.
it's basically a dungeon with a lot of unskippable cutscenes. So during the unskippable cutscenes that you watch like over and over and over again, you just do something else. So I paint, and yeah, you just airbrush the base and contrast the hell out of it. I honestly just use Bosny flat white and then contrast over it. And yeah, Eric, it is a blockbuster movie. You have no choice but to sit through the cutscenes.
Okay.
That's a spoiler, Jonathan. Anyway, Soulblight Gravelords in Skirmish Combat. This is the realm of Teacher Mikey, and now that he's back, we actually get more details for Skirmish. Yay!
Man, I
Go ahead.
super miss doing this. So anyway, I don't personally play Soulblight Gravelords. No? So a lot of the things that I say about skirmish are based on what I see online in battle reports and faction analysis. No, I actually only play four of the existing war bands, and mostly in
So
order.
far.
But so far, but yeah, they're not too hard to assess. No? But anyway, going back, Soulblight Gravelords in skirmish combat. Yes, I am back from exile, back from the dead, back from the grave. Okay, so me and Kesh were talking about Soulblight Gravelords and how they're a technical faction in Warcry. You don't get a lot of range attacks, but it it teaches you a lot of things. No, you have a lot of interesting choices as you'll see in the later in the slides, and it's a very horde based war band, but you get a lot of really cool, really nice looking leader choices, including Blood Knights. Yes, one of the best parts of Warcry is you get to play with cavalry units, and again, there are resurrecting units and amazing horde buffs. So, Pachao, let's get to the options that you have, you know, just to see. There you go. Look at all those options. Some of these are literally cursed, no, but we'll tell you later how to get a hold of those models. A lot of them are already actually can be readily available to you. Lots of battle line units from AOS that have really good uses in skirmish. But we will tell you now in advance that the skeleton minions here are just as good as they are in AOS, which means they're not. Okay, but you can't go wrong with a lot of the other options, and there are a lot. You get to play with the new stuff. No? Okay, so let's go a little deeper into what they can actually do. Pachao. Okay, so it's a fun starting point. for learning how to use buffs, positional play, and timing of abilities. What does this mean? Soulblight Gravelords, they don't have a lot of raw power, but they have a lot of combo potential. You get rewarded for sacrificing your units because you get to resurrect them. Um, Resurrecting a unit, okay, so it's a little bit of it's a little cheaty faced because a unit can die on this side of the board, on this side of your resurrecting unit, and after you use the resurrecting unit to be after you revive it, it's suddenly touching an enemy fighter. No, and that can create a lot of shenanigans. There's a lot of things that you can do, a lot of fun things, a lot of technical stuff. You also want your minions to be in good positions on the board. Remember, Warcry is a 22 by 30 map. That's half of a combat patrol, no, half of the smallest game size for big army, and every square inch of movement matters. Those skeletons are only moving 3 inches by default. That's pretty bad. Okay, that's pretty bad. But they have, as long as they are within range of your leader, whether it's your vampire lord or your necromancer, it's,
Necromancer.
you want necromancer. I mean, later we'll tell you how to get the necromancer. I think this one is a particularly hard model to get
What?
these
Necromancer?
days.
No, it's not web store.
Oh, it's not web store. Okay,
It's not
I was
web
thinking
store,
of,
but it's like
okay,
super convertible, easy.
okay, cool. So the thing you need to remember with Soulblight Gravelords, they are pretty straightforward, and literally you have to keep moving your skellies forward. You want them to die, and that's okay because you can easily resurrect them. You want them to be in range of your leader or your hero. Remember, in Warcry, you can take a leader unit and a hero unit, which is basically another leader, but without the designation. You want them to be in range of the buffs, you, and many of the minions, basically the skeleton warriors, your grave guard, and also your zombies, your deadwalker zombies. As long as they are in range, they get to use an ability that lets them take another walk, and that is scary because of how cheap they are. And again, Warcry is a game of numbers. You want to be able to reach as many objectives as possible. Um, but one thing you need to remember: your only source of range combat is that Necromancer, which actually makes him an auto take. Okay, so let's go just a little bit more deeper into the skirmish combat stuff.
Oh, we got some cool input here. So Milo says that we had we had them at vampires. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you can use that vampire lord in skirmish, and vampire knights on vampire horses in red blood in crimson blood armor. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
Michael says cruel boys go pew pew on wizards.
oh gosh.
Which is an unfortunate thing. Like yeah. And oh, okay. So Lance is joining a Path to Glory campaign using undead, and yeah, you will be getting a lot of undead tips from us today.
Yeah, and I hope you can also try to incorporate Warcry games, skirmish games into those Path of Glory. I don't know if it's possible, but I think there's now a way to link those games together. Okay, so let's watch
Parang
out.
wala pa, pero like
Wala pa, no?
wala pa. Okay, so notes on Soulblight Gravelords in Warcry.
Okay, so fortunately for you, Milo, getting the Vampire Lord, okay, that gives you an excuse to get it for your Warcry games. It's really, really good. No, it's just okay in AOS, I hear, but in skirmish combat, it's your toughest unit. It can fly, it can suck blood, it can resurrect things. Yes, so it's a walking fly. It's a flying tank, basically. It's a flying tank. It hits hard and does a lot of leadership buffs. You also want to get more of the not. I don't consider Vargeists ugly. They're beautiful in their own way. I like them. I like how they look. These are from the same kit as the what do you call this?
Crep Flares.
Yeah, the Flesh Eater Court script players. Basically the same kit. These are the less creepy looking versions. They're a little more human looking. They fly. They're a little fragile, but it won't matter if they kill the target anyway. And
They are
one of
very
the
fragile.
They're very fragile, but they're very fast. They hit really hard, and as a bonus, if they kill something, they can act again. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to Soulblight Gravelords. You want to give support to your elite units. Vargheists are not cheap, but they are worth every point. But they need to be supported. That's what I like about SPG. Uh, the strategy is very straightforward. You just need to master the timing. No? And I think a lot of this can have a carryover in other warbands or if you decide to graduate to AOS. No? Tapos, make sure you include a good number of minions for tar pitting and playing objectives. Chief of which is the Grave Guard. No? The Grave Guard are really good. Um, they're better than the Skellies. No?
Of course.
They're better than the Skellies. They're a little more expensive, around 30% more expensive. But again, sorry, 50% more expensive. But again, it's worth every point. They're simply tougher. They have a farther reach, and you can take them along with the Deadwalker zombies. So they're okay. But take a lot of them. Take a lot of them. They'll die. They'll come back. They'll annoy your opponent, and you'll be scoring points. Remember, if something dead comes back, um, it comes back better in war try. That's the general rule.
Whew. Okay. So we have a question here from Michael. Recommended basing for SBGL. I personally use snow because my entire undeath army is like in the snowy parts of Shaiish. So it really depends on what your setting is. The classic one would be some deady earth thing or mud, and then having some dead tufts on it, like Mordheim tufts or the Deadlands from Army Painter. But it's really up to you. It will heavily depend. And yes, Vargas are amazing to paint. Like I haven't finished mine,
They
so
look really nice.
I can't show you the picture yet, but they are very cool. They are very contrastable, and I actually like to do a custom mix for Vargeist and Vampire Skin, which I'll show you guys when we get to like the painting. Sorry, the army showcases.
Yeah. Sasamahan kita dyan, Kuya Milo. Sa ano, SBG Warband. I really want to do a Vargeist. I really want to do a Vampire Lord. They're really nice models. I want to use them in a game.
Just let me know when you're ordering them, Mikey.
Next! Next.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so we're doing we're we're jumping ahead of ourselves by talking about how to get started, what to buy, because I think this is very important. Okay, um, there's the optimal warband, which includes the Vampire Lord, the Vargeist, and Graveguard. But that's a total of three different kits. Okay, that's three different kits. You can also get the Blood Knights. Blood Knights are super amazing. When we get to their slide later, you'll see how really, really nice they look. You can play them in Warcry. They're fast, they're tough, but they cannot climb. But they're fast. So you're looking at four total kits if you want to really enjoy the mixing and the matching, and that can be very expensive. You're looking at upwards what $200 in total if you want to experience the good stuff in Warcraft.
Yeah, it's
But
around 8 to 10K.
diba? So four different kits. Um, a good solution if you just really want to get started and learn. You can't go wrong with the start collecting. So, like Gravelords, you get your White King on Skeletal Steed, which is
Yep,
really nice. You get the Skeleton, what do you call these guys? The Knights,
the Black Knights.
the Black Knights, okay? The Black Knights are okay. They're a little inferior to they're, they're, they're a lot cheaper, but they're also inferior to the Blood Knights. They don't look half as cool, but they have their uses. And you get all the Grave Guard that you need. So this is
Yes.
100% Warcry ready. You get something that still teaches you how SBG works, but you just don't have the cool vampire peeps who can practically keep themselves alive forever. So that's the advantage of using the Crimson Knights over the Black Knights. But again, if you're on a budget, you can't go wrong with the start collecting Soulblight Gravelords, and this is also somewhat of a viable start for AOS. So yeah, do the Viking on Skeletal Steed. It's just as good as the Crimson Knights. It
Yeah,
looks really good.
there is actually an alternative to starting Soulblight Gravelords for using a start collecting box, but we'll get to that near the end of our
Yeah.
slides. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, that's all
Soulblight
I have to say.
Gravelords in AOS. Like how I want to sell people into like the big army is I want to show you this huge like scenic diorama and how awesome it is. And that's how it feels fielding like a big army of them. As
Wild.
to how they play, they are a horde army, so you're gonna be having a lot of units. Um, so it's gonna be a lot of skeletons, a lot of zombies, a lot of rotting things, and it's gonna be very dark and it's gonna be very scary. So if you're into that kind of aesthetic, like Soul by Gravelords is for you. So
And
Horde
rotting
Army,
dogs.
yes,
Rotting
um,
dogs.
yes, rotting dogs. If you're into rotting dogs, this is where you go. We also have bats spreading COVID, so there's that. So big army game types, of course, we do this every episode. So 750 points is the lowest you can go for a match play game, and we usually go up to 2,000 lang. We nobody actually plays 3,000. So tournaments will usually be in the 2,000 point range. So just follow this chart and see what you can bring. Now for allegiances, we have five different allegiances for Soulblight Rivers. The first is the Legion of Blood, Neferata's personal legion. So they focus a lot on their vampires and buffing up their skeletons because they don't actually like zombies because zombies are not aesthetic. Yeah, that's legitimately the reason they don't like zombies. Zombies are not aesthetic. Mas aesthetic and hindi mabaho ang skeletons. So
So they're
that's why they go
the
for
socialites. The
yeah, they're the
socialites of the
socialites.
vampire society.
And just like the socialites, they're pretty goddamn useless. So Legion of Blood is actually one of the least taken factions. Neferata herself is like a blender, but like that's all she is, a blender. There are other
Yes.
blenders. Yeah.
Eat the
Legion of
rich
Night.
with the zombies. Eat the rich with the zombies.
Yeah. Legion of Night is pretty cool because they focus on ambush tactics. You get a bonus tier save for your summonable units, your zombies, your skeletons during the first turn of the game on like your table during in your in your deployment zone, and then your other units can come in ambush from the sides, so you can actually take some of your guys aside and then put them into ambush. Also Vargeists who can deep strike become battle line. So that's
Ooh.
it for Legion of Night, and they also have one of the best characters in the entire book, which is Manfred, and we'll talk about Manfred when we get there.
So
He's a
if I
total asshole both in game and like in lore.
so if I love Wargeists and I love Wargeists in Warcry, I'm probably Legion of Night.
Yeah, and then you get Manfred. Like you love his name, right?
Yeah, it's a Chad name.
Yeah.
He's
So
an able, but it's a Chad name.
mhm. So Castelai Dynasty naman are where you use your Blood Knights. So Castelai have like a lot of little bonuses along with like being able to deep strike some ambush some vampires from the sides. But the most important thing you need to know are Blood Knights become battle line. Once again, Blood Knights become battle line. That makes Castelai horribly, horribly amazing and cheesy. So
Wild.
if you want to run Blood Knights for days, you will run Castelai. Avengori naman turn the Terror Geist and the Zombie Dragon into battle line. So yeah, yeah. This is
The
where you
way
get your monster mash.
okay, so kind of like how the Stormcast Eternals do it with their dragons.
Yeah, but like crappier.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We'll get there when we get there. And then the Virkos Dynasty, which is the Magic and the Wolves, they actually do a lot of magic. Yeah, they are actually the worst sub faction here. Arguably there with Legion of Blood. Some people like Legion of Blood better, some people like Avengori better, but Avengori is generally the least used. Vircos naman is the most used, siguro tied with the Castellai, because the Castellai Blood Knights, Blood Knights. Yeah, yeah. That's all I have to say about them, Blood Knights, and that should be all it takes. The Vircos use a lot of wolves. They have bonuses to their magic for their vampire wizards, so necromancers are not affected. They do also have really good melee, and they have the most characters. And yeah, international availability of Blood Knights is a huge problem because like they're in short stock everywhere. So
Yeah,
you're
that's
gonna want to
unfortunate.
field. There are other ways to have hammer units in Soulblight Gravelords than Blood Knights. Blood Knights are obviously the most efficient, but there's another really good one. But we will get there. If UKGW has them again, we should be able to get them again. So just let me know how many Blood Knight kits you want, and we will get them.
Incidentally, if you get a Blood Knights kit, that's an entire Warcry warband onto itself. Pero you're not gonna be reaching anything that stands on the platform because Warcry rules. That's sad. No, that's sad. You're
You
super
just bring a
strong.
Vampire Lord on foot then, and then you're
Yeah,
done.
yeah. So that's a complete Warcry warband. I think that's cheap if you just stick with that. But you're not gonna win any games. I'm sure.
All right. So Michael says go Avengori for how cool they look. Like that. That's definitely an option. But you will die anytime you see a cruel boy across the table or a Lumineth player across the table.
Oof.
So really, it's real cool. Play what you want. If you wanna play with the old Nagash model, incidentally, if you do have the old Nagash model and are willing to let go of him, I am willing to buy it
You don't have
because
it.
I don't.
Okay.
It's older than me, man.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
older than me. It's like 1989.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
older than it.
Yes, I am not.
I am
So
not.
just PM is key. So if you wanna be like Michael and just go Avengori, do it. If you wanna go socialite vampires, do that. Like there's absolutely nothing stopping you from playing what you want.
Yeah. Even a Warcry pure Blood Knight warband. Sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
just kill everyone before they get to the platforms, right?
Yep. You'll probably reach them.
So all right, so let's start with the battle line. There's the dead walker zombies. They're fragile AF. They don't even have a save.
What? What?
Yeah, who needs saves? Well, they have the 6+ feel no pain, the ward save
Ah, okay.
for
They have that.
being near a vamp, for being near an HQ or a grave site. So they're nice, but they are very fragile. But they do have mortal wounds for days. A 6 to wound, I believe, in the or a 6 to hit in melee is an automatic mortal wound. And
Oh,
here's the
nice.
thing: they don't need to charge. If you're within 6 inches of an enemy, you can pile in. So you don't need to
What?
declare a charge, and therefore you don't have to worry about Overwatch.
That's wild.
Yeah, and you will be getting the Necromancer for the zombies. We'll discuss it when we get to the Necromancer. Um, but really, like Deadwalker zombies are the premier battle line that can also DPS. They can also be brought back to life using the Soulblight Gravelords special ability, where if you have an entire summonable unit wiped out, there's you can on a dice roll. There's a chance of bringing them back at half strength, but they do count as a new unit, and they do count as destroyed for points.
And if you already own the Curse City game, you have this stuff
Yeah, but you have
automatically.
10, and it's minimum 20 to play, which is kind of annoying. But
Okay, that's unfortunate.
yeah,
But for
this is what I'm
Warcry, there's
doing
set.
though. I have the Cursed City set, and I have a set of 20 of these. So what I am doing is I am kit bashing. So from these we have a lot of extra bits. We have a lot of extra bits than from the Cursed City ones. So I'm building some zombies that are just coming out of the ground because there
Oh,
are a
that's
lot
wild.
of upper bodies. So
Oh, that's greedy.
that's gonna be how I fill up my 40.
Cool, cool.
Okay, so Death Rattle skeletons. The new skeleton models are honestly amazing, but they are harder to paint than the old skeleton models because they have a lot more armor. So it's no longer like skeleton horde done. So, but they have fallen so far from how they were in the previous edition. Used to be it was like an in-store rule that if Kesh's 40-man skeleton blob fully buff touches you, you just remove your unit from the table so that we don't waste 30 minutes rolling. Because we actually tested it, and the most durable thing in the game, which is the Great Unclean one, only took 130 attacks to kill.
Is this with
So
the one with Doctor Go?
this is the one with Doctor Go, and they whip out 400 attacks. So like
That's
nothing
insane.
could survive them. If they touch you, you are dead. But like they have lost a lot of their spam potential because they've lost their number of attacks additional per 10. So that's gone now, and their only purpose now is to hold the line because they are slightly more survivable now with a better save. So they lost a shit ton of DPS and gained a little bit of survivability. Is that a fair trade? Definitely not. They got
Mm,
shafted so hard,
doesn't
which is
sound
a
so good.
pity because they have such nice models now. Yeah, and now the spears and the swords are the same thing, so you can't really do the spears from the back anymore. So they're just really yeah, they're just a sturdy tar pit unit that you use to hold an objective. That's really it. That's their entire purpose now.
They actually look nice. I like how
They
they
are
look.
very nice. If you have Chris City, you have 10 of them. That's a minimum 10 squad that you can place on a backfield objective and forget about them. That's it.
Sad.
They're wolves. Now, these are actually pretty good. They're fast, they're decently cheap. They're great flankers because they are fast. They have a decent amount of survivability and DPS, and they can keep up with both the Kardashians and the Blood Knights because they are fast. And they can be summoned by some characters, which we will be talking about when we get to those characters. But really, direwolves, especially if you're playing Virkos, with Virkos's bonuses to deadwalkers, and they are deadwalkers. It's gonna be a good time. Now, the necromancer, you use him for
Finally.
his glorious spell, the Van Hels's Dance Macabre, like because he is so fragile and so shitty, but he does have like a lookout sir where he can pass wounds over to zombies and skeletons. But Van Hels's Dance Macabre basically lets you pile in an attack twice with a single unit. So you use this with your mortal wounding zombies. You use this with your grave guard. I used to use this with my skeleton horde for the 400 attacks of doom, but that's no longer viable. So now you do it with the zombies. You do it with the grave guard, and honestly, you just keep him secret. Keep it secret. Keep it
As an
safe.
added bonus, everything that he does in AOS, he has a very, very, very close version of it. The Dance Macabre, the
Yeah,
siphoning of the
in Warcry.
wounds in Warcry, it's nuts. You want him in Warcry.
Yeah, honestly, he's an auto buy. But here's the thing: there are a lot of models that look like wizards in Age of Sigmar. So if you don't like this aesthetic, you can get one of those and you can convert the hell out of it. If you want to take the battle mages from Cities of Sigmar, there's actually a death mage in there with a scythe, and it's actually pretty cool. You can turn that into a necromancer if you have this guy from Cursed City, the guy whose thesis Torgilius stole. I use him as a necromancer. There are no limits to what you can use as a necromancer. If you want to use an evil elf as a necromancer, do it. Just convert him accordingly and make him match the rest of your army.
What's the
But a
base size for this
necromancer
one?
is it's
What's the base
I
size?
believe 40 mm.
Okay, easy enough.
Oh sorry,
Easy
he's
enough.
32 rather, 32 mm.
Oh yeah, 40 is too big.
Yeah, yeah, 32 mm siya. Vampire Lord is 40 mm.
Cool, cool, cool.
Right. Speaking of the Vampire Lord, he's a decent combat unit
Yes!
here that can fly.
Love
He
it.
has a new model which looks like Diluc from Genshin Impact with Debate Club. So VN has dubbed this model as Debate Club Diluc. So it's still WYSIWYG, like it's a mage. So like as long as it's 80% GW, it's fine.
Yeah.
and like reasonably converted, so it can't be mistaken for the old model. It's fine. Um, and you bring the Vampire Lord because of its command ability to give extra attacks to a summonable unit, so +1 to attacks. So you combo that with Van Hels's Dance Macabre to make an absolute blender out of your Graveguard or your zombies. Used to be your skeletons, but not anymore. Now, while the Vampire Lord does have a good command ability, and while he can fly, um, you usually want the Zombie Dragon version unless you're playing very small games.
But it's
So,
nice.
the Vingorian Lord. So it's actually a defensive monster. Would you believe it? So he's a stand user with this with the JoJo pose, if you notice. So yeah, he's channeling his inner Dio, and usually he has this aura of debuffing enemy rend. So he's usually taken with Nagash to protect Nagash. So, or with other monsters to keep your monsters alive. But he's a defensive monster and not really a melee blender, weirdly
He
enough.
protects. He protects.
Yes, he protect.
With that pose, yeah. With the JoJo
Yeah,
pose.
yeah, with the JoJo pose. So the White King is a sad king. White Kings only support Death Rattle, and the premier battle line Death Rattle is the skeleton warriors, which are no longer as good. So while the command ability is not that bad, it's reroll once to hit for all death rattle. It doesn't really support other things like zombies, etc. So it's pretty sad. It does still support Graveguard, and Graveguard do become battle line when a White King is your general. So you might get mileage if you wanna do a pure bone army. This is the guy for you. Rather, this is the guy for you, which is the White King on Skeletal Steed. He's a very
That's
cool
also good
model.
in
Yeah,
Warcry. That's also really good in
yeah.
Warcry.
He's actually better than the guy on foot. Much better than the
Nope.
guy on foot.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent in Warcry.
Yeah. I incidentally like I have this guy back with the square base pa. Yeah. So White King
Now
on
that
Skeleton Skid for the longest time he did not have a model, and he was super used in 2.0 Legions of Nagash. Then he got a new model and then he got crapped on, so no one uses him anymore. So, but if you want to use him for Warcry, definitely do. Like, apparently, according to Mikey, he's very good in Warcry.
this
And
one
if you
hits like a
do,
truck.
yeah,
Really hits like
and
a truck.
if you do get the start collecting skeleton, the I know Soulblight Gravelords with the shit ton of Graveguard, this is the guy you want to support them. Now, the Bloodseeker Palanquin is one of three builds for the Mortis Engine kit, and my the only thing I can say about this is Isildur.gif. No,
Yun
but
lang.
this is where you want to go. The Coven Throne. She has good ability, she has good melee, good ability support for other vampires, and there's a unique spell where if you can beat the enemy's bravery on 3d6, they can't attack you because you turn into John Cena.
That
So
red arrow though.
that red arrow, though, yeah.
Uh,
So it's a very cool model. Unfortunately, it is website exclusive. We're hoping to get like new start collecting boxes that come with this again. So maybe one day, or maybe with a Christmas box. We're hoping for a Christmas box.
boy, that's soon. That's coming soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a couple of months away. Uh,
I'll
And Coven Thrones are generally good in Castelli because they like to support vampires, and they're also good in Legion of Blood. And it's Legion of Blood themed. It's a bunch of vampire socialites. All right, now the Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon is the classic,
woo,
all the way back from Warhammer Fantasy Battle. It's a very big, very scary thing that's also very strong, but also very prone to being sniped to death by the effing Lumineth, and now the Cruel Boys. So if you see Cruel Boys across the table from you, this guy's gonna die, which is very sad because he once he
unless you
gets
go
into
first.
melee, he hits like a truck. He might not get there on in one turn. So
Really? That's sad.
yeah, it depends on like if the Cruel Boys player hides. Yeah.
Is there no way to
So
hide this?
Legion of Night and then ambush.
Right.
or Castelli, and they come in from the Red Keep ambush. Then those are generally the
Damn
yes, and the
SCE
Stormcast Eternal
archers.
Archers. But the SE archers are not as bad as like Bolt Boys, the DJ Killbow, the DJ Killbow, and the fucking Sentinels, the fucking Sentinels. Anyway, so there's for the named characters. Let's start with Lauka Vai, the Mother of Nightmares, the Avengori character. She's a very fluffy close combat monster because she can go cray cray and lose her command ability to gain the ability to run and charge. So that's pretty cool. She has the usual weakness to dying to fucking elven shooting and now bolt boys. And Eric never mentioned Gollum Dobby to me again. Like, please stop. It's creepy as fuck. Like, I don't want to talk about it. So it's the usual week. Well, if you love the mini so much, order it, Michael. Put your money where your mouth is.
Sige nga.
So yeah, usual weakness of dying to shooting. But if you want a Vengori beat stick, you go for her, and she's very good partnered with Dio, because Dio reduces the rend and she does the blend. And then there's just a bunch of terror guys behind you. Now, Belladama Volga is the original Jilf. So if you see those wolves, those were her yeah, kakayabay lang ni Michael. Thank you for paying salaries for the staff for October.
Pay them more.
so so but if you also want to pay for rent, please do order more. So if you look at these wolves, those are actually her previous lovers, which she got tired of. So she turns them into dire wolves. So she's an excellent support caster for any dynasty, and she's anti-shooting tech. If you're being hounded, no pun intended,
Hounded.
by I did not mean to pun. This is one of those times I did not actually mean to pun, but I punned accidentally. So I usually like mean my puns. I usually intend my puns, but not this time. So this is the anti-sentinel, anti-bolt boy, anti-SE archer, because her spell is like you. I deal mortal wounds to you, and if you kill anything, the model that you kill turns into a dire wolf, which then locks that model into combat. Meaning they cannot um, overwatch you, letting you charge with impunity.
Even from
So
away, even if they kill from away,
mhm,
the direwolf actually spots.
the dire wolf, like you kill the guy, and then he transforms into a wolf and attacks his former comrades.
That's why.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why.
A pun from Jonathan. If a vampire makes weird jokes when they transport, is that a paniki?
Eh.
That's a 2 out of 10 for me. Sorry, John.
Oh look, we lost a viewer after that.
John, stop making puns.
Yeah, we lost one viewer after that pun, man. Don't do it again.
Yeah. Obviously, Gobsrak makes all wizards sad, but you can get out of that by just killing Gobsrak. So
Of course.
with Radukar the Beast.
The
So
real Radokar. The
yeah. So Radukar the Furry is a super beat stick melee vampire wizard beast thing. So he is all of that. He has this command ability of an 18-inch bubble that Soulblight Gravelords units within the 18 inches get +1 attack if Radukar also charged that turn, which can also stack with the command ability ni Vampire Lord with the +1 attack, which also stacks with the um, Van Hels's Dance Macabre. So this is how you keep piling on attacks. Yes, it's also a must-have for Virkos. And he has a once per game free summon of a 10-man squad of direwolves. Free. So included na sa points cost niya is like a free unit of direwolves.
Oh, Okay, not from reserve. It's
Nope,
baked into
nope,
his
nope,
points.
nope, nope. It's
That's
baked
super
into his
wild.
points,
That's
and
super
he's
wild.
cheap, ha, for what he is. And so he's really really good. He's how many points lang? Let me check. He's 315 lang, including the 135 points for the for the Darwolves. So super sulit. If you're
That's
taking
pretty wild.
Virkos, you wanna take this guy. And he can also run in charge. So he does keep up very well with Blood Knights. You see the theme here. Things that are good keep up with Blood Knights.
Blood Knights for days.
Yeah. So Radukar the Wolf is small Radukar from Cursed City. He's a cheaper Radukar with the same command ability. So he's good for smaller games but doesn't come with free wolves. So you take him for smaller games if you want to take a themed army. And you can use him as a vampire lord in Warcry if you want. Same base size. And he is a
Yeah,
vampire
why
lord.
not? He is a vampire. He is a vampire.
So Gorslav naman is like if you're spamming zombies, Gorslav is an auto take. Especially if you're spamming zombies in Virkos. Because this guy, remember I told you you can bring back half a squad of summonable unit that died before on a dice roll. This guy's auto. So if your 60-man unit died, next turn you have a 30-man unit of zombies coming back. So it's just crazy.
And he looks super nice. Super,
He
super
looks like
nice.
he looks like something from the mind of Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. I don't regret letting go of my city if I can get just the bad guys in the same
Yeah, we,
price.
we can order you the bad guys during our next web store order wave.
Cool, which will arrive in 6 months or
Ish.
7, give or take.
Yeah, that's what we get for being a third world country.
Oof.
So watch Captain Halgrim. He makes skeletons faster, but why bother when Gorslav exists and is cheaper? And he boosts Kellys, which are the inferior troop choice. So you just skip this guy.
But it looks nice.
Yeah. Torgilius the Chamberlain naman can generate extra CP when near Radukar the Wolf. But if he is near Radukar the Wolf, which means he's in melee range and that's not where he wants to be. He's also a death mage without Van Hells. Hard pass.
Just use him as a necromancer.
Um, may sample ako mamaya.
Kaya nga
Courtesy
pala
of
eh.
Eric. Courtesy of Eric. So this is Kritza the Rat Prince. He does not die when he is killed. On a 4 plus, he can come back somewhere
He
else on the
does
field.
not die when
Yes, he is the anti-Shiro Emiya. So he is not a wizard, and he's very niche. So just pass on him. I feel like him and Lady Anika were supposed to be expansions for Curse City before it got squatted, along with like Radukar the Beast. So like
You can't tell
there,
me there's no innuendo in this name and that entire model. You
yeah.
can't tell
So
me there's no
she
innuendo
very
there.
thirsty, but she is also very garbage. She's a dedicated melee vampire lord without the command ability and without magic. So just don't. Why? Yes, completely useless. Garbage. Now, we start
Aha!
with Manfred von Karstein,
That name
Mikey's
though.
favorite. He's the Lord of the Trolls, and he's a total asshole in both lore and in game. Let me explain.
With a name like that,
So,
you kind of expect.
he does have a command ability that gives rerolls, which is pretty cool. But his main and he does have really good melee. And along with the rest of the vampires, when he kills things, he can regenerate. But what you bring him for is when he gets into combat, before actually anyone makes any strikes, he can decide, I don't like this combat. I'll teleport away. He can then deep strike anywhere more than 9 inches away from any enemy model, anywhere on the field.
What? He
So
can
you can
yeet himself
you
out.
can charge an enemy unit, decide you don't want him, you don't want to be in melee, and then teleport away into like an objective. Or if
How
he
fair
gets
is that?
charged, you can choose to teleport away.
In what world is that fair?
In the world where he dies to shooting.
Right. Okay. Cool. At
So,
least.
yun lang. Like, if you shoot him, he dies. So, Neferata is a close combat Mortark with less utility than Manfred. You probably want to give her a miss unless you're doing a themed Legion of Blood Force.
She
But
looks
she is
nice.
very killy. She's more melee murder than Manfred. But she does not have the teleport. She does not have the trollishness, and Legion of Blood is one of the weaker allegiances. Now,
That's unfortunate.
it's your boy. It's Nagash.
Yeah, bye.
So, our Lord Nagash is
Hail, Lord Nagash.
yeah, it's my boy. So you see, Nagash is a staple in the Godhammer meta, but he does need protection to not be sniped to death. So you want the prismatic palisade to keep him out of line of sight. You can why? You can bring him in Ossiarch Bone Reapers instead for his bodyguard. You can still spam Blood Knights with him, but you usually want to bring a Vingorian Lord to reduce enemy rend on him. And you usually want to bring the spell portals with him. Spell portals are sort of required with Nagash and Belladama. So Belladama can like reach across the table and turn you into wolves, or Nagash can then use his bad touch. His bad touch is his signature spell, which basically you take a die, then you hide it in one of your hands, and then you have your enemy guess. If they chose wisely, nothing happens. But if you chose poorly, your model is straight up removed. Yeah, the only thing immune to that in this entire game is Gotrek, where he takes D6 mortal wounds instead. Now, Nagash also knows all the spells of Soulblight Gravelords, like all of it. And he can also cast and deny, like, I believe, 8 every turn at full wounds. He can also regen, and he's super survivable, super magicy. But there are stuff that makes him feel bad, like stuff that auto denies, like Lumineth, or stuff that are really good denial units, like Gobsprak and what's his face, and Lord Croak.
So this isn't something that you really need to babysit as much as the other big models. He has a lot of built-in protection.
Yeah, but he's also like 1,000 points, like 900 something
Oof!
points. Yeah, so
Really?
he's half your army.
Wild. Okay, I didn't expect
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he is the most expensive model in the game because he is like,
Well,
yeah, he's the
he's
cash.
yeah, he's a god level threat. A practical rogue, I guess.
Honestly, I keep him next to me in the car. I take everything down, and then I have Vian carry the army, and then I just carry Nagash.
So you need another person to physically be with you,
Look,
just to make.
if you're playing Nagash and you're not bringing slaves, you're doing it wrong.
Oh my god,
Okay?
that's very quotable.
You have someone else bring Nagash, or you have someone else carry the army and you bring Nagash. You don't play Nagash without slaves. Come on. Come
Okay,
on.
noted,
This is
noted.
the entire point of playing Soulblight Gravelords.
You get
Slavery.
to play with the gosh. Okay, indentureship in death.
Aliping sa gigilid.
Napat napatay.
Napatay. So, another special unit for Castella naman is Prince Vordrai. He's the better vampire lord on Zombie Dragon. If you're running Castella, you always bring him, but you also consider bringing him even in other dynasties because he is actually much better than the vampire lord on Zombie Dragon. And if you are bringing Castella, you're bringing both. So
Let me check
then
depth.
there's Prince Duval from, you know, the Crimson Court, and along with most non-destruction armies for Warhammer Underworlds, he's just a nope. Nope. See, Prince Duval, no, he comes with his Crimson Court,
Crimson Court.
and he's required to always be brought with his Crimson Court. So Prince
Yeah, we
Duval
have an entry for
alone,
that.
yeah, Prince Duval alone is kind of garbage because he's a vampire lord without all the nice things. So he's just a melee stick, and really, you don't need him. Just use him as a regular vampire lord, honestly. And we're getting to the other units now.
The
Oh,
hot
VL on
garbage.
Zombie Dragon is the same kit as the Terror guys, the Zombie Dragon, Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, and uh Prince Fordrai. All the same kit. So Black Knights are a hot garbage of a cavalry unit, especially in a faction where Blood Knights exist. So we're just gonna skip them. Skip.
Sad. Even in Warcry, you're not gonna take them.
All right, this is it. Here we go.
Now we're
These
talking.
these are the kings of Soulblight Gravelords. Literally, if you just go Castellai, you take a list of Vordrai and nothing but Blood Knights. You fill your points with Blood Knights. You will win games.
That's 5 to a box, diba?
That's five to a box, and you should at least be bringing five. Like in any list, doesn't matter what list you're bringing. You should always at least be bringing five. But honestly, gods, if you just bring Vordrai, maybe another zombie dragon, or more and more blood knights, more blood knights. Like I've seen lists with 30 blood knights. Look, sure they may target one or two units of blood knights, but what if you have 6 units of blood knights? And here's the thing, blood knights cannot be targeted because they have this thing where if they're stuck in melee, they can make a normal move away, and if they move over things with 3 wounds, they can move over things with 3 wounds or less, and deal mortal wounds to them. So
So they're
even from
basically just
escape,
Madaya.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
just
they are
Madaya.
they're the best cavalry in the game. Honestly, hands down, blah. Just got blood knights. Now, Corpse Cart with Balefire Brazier. It's a website exclusive, and you honestly don't need to bother. It debuffs enemy units with a -1 to casting and a -1 to wound in melee, and it's good for supporting zombies. But you can also just bring more zombies.
And it doesn't look very.
It's a very old model from old fantasy. Now, the Corpse Cart with Unholy Lodestone naman gives zombies a 6 plus save. Wow. And but that's
Ah.
not the thing you bring it for. You bring it because it gives bonuses to cast for your wizards wholly within 12. But honestly, just give it a pass. Also, it looks like yung sipit sa buhok, but like
Right.
open. I've seen conversions with that. That they use the hair clip
It's
thing.
okay. You're not missing anything naman yata, Michael. It's all good.
So Felbats, they bring COVID to your enemies with the new Felbat kit.
Jesus.
Just don't eat them. Um, they're utterly garbage at most things except being a bloody nuisance chaff unit, at which they utterly excel. And that's what you want them for. They're just gonna zoom in. They're gonna they're gonna charge an enemy unit and take the Overwatch so that your other units don't have to. So
Wow.
that's entirely what they're for. They're there to take shots for other people and hopefully not die while doing it. But if they did, it's fine. They did their job. They're
Wow.
cheap.
There are no
And
bats in Warcry,
yeah,
apparently.
they somebody ate them na.
Yeah,
Uh
there are no dire wolves. There are no fell bats
yeah,
in Warcry.
Papa Xi Jinping already ate them to distill COVID. So unless doing nothing but Blood Knights, your list always has room for these. And even if you are doing Blood Knights, if you have the points for the Felbats, why not the Felbats? Yeah,
There are no
no, it's
bats in
not too
Warcry.
bad. Like you will want the Felbats. The Felbats are good. They're garbage, but they're garbage in a good way because they do their job. Like they're chaff.
Okay.
I- is your enemy gonna waste their precious CP overwatching them, or are they just gonna let them charge and di na rin mo overwatch yung Blood Knights mo? So that's their entire job, and they're very good at their job. Like, don't get me wrong, Felbats are good. They're garbage, but good garbage.
What? Okay.
Yes, yes. So, Graveguard. This is the other option for hammer unit aside from Blood Knights. The shields will make you survivable, but the great weapons make you great because they do two damage. And if you
The
roll
great
a
weapons
six
make you
to
great.
wound, you turn into two mortal wounds. So you bring this if you want a skeletony DPS unit supported by a vampire and necromancer, and things will evaporate. You can also bring Radukar the Beast. You can boost them with Manfred. There are so many ways to boost these guys. You can boost them with Nagash. They become troops with a White King. So these guys are just so good. They're also spammable. They're also summonable, meaning if your opponent wipes out that blob of 20, you can bring 10 back.
You also want these for Warcry, so you can't
Yeah,
go wrong. These are deleters. These are deleter units in Warcry.
yes.
You want them.
I
In
have
Great
one
Sword.
complaint.
What?
I have one complaint. The new skeleton warriors look more like Graveguard than the actual Graveguard.
Okay lang. Okay lang.
Yeah, that makes me sad. I think they're slightly bigger. I will have to compare.
Are these squat skeletons?
Yeah,
Are these kind
these
of
are
squat?
old skeletons. Yeah,
I see. I see. But
they're
yeah.
leaning forward kasi.
So wait. So for our viewers and potential customers, you're gonna want to build your grave guard as great swords in AOS.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
So that's the same in Warcry, dual purpose. The shields probably won't help you that much in Warcry.
Yeah, and
They
always
can.
have the instrument. Always have the instrument. The instrument lets you make if you roll less than a 6 for your charge becomes 6. So you always are charging at 6 inches. And the banner does like a bravery deep buff, which doesn't come in too often, but when it does, pretty good. Okay, Kosargi Night Guard. You are only taking if you're taking small Radukar, as they are small Radukar's bodyguard and can take wounds for him. They have decent melee, but honestly, pass.
Yep.
Now the Crimson Court. Honestly, nope. Don't bring them as a Crimson Court. Use them as your vampire lords because they are sexy. Look at this guy with a mace. It's amazing model. Like he looks like a manlier Manfred. And the wing guy like is also pretty cool. So you can actually see that it flies. The big hair lady is also very 80s. So honestly, you bring any of these guys, you bring them as a vampire lord, not as the Crimson Court. If you bring them as the Crimson Court, they're like a bunch of elite vampires that have one wound each.
What?
Oh no, Michael was talking about the Felbats kanina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But also applies here. They look nice, but yeah.
No, no, no. You sub the Prince Duval for Vlad because this is Vlad. Um Prince Duval is basically just younger Vlad. So you're gonna wanna take Prince Duval and use him as Vlad. And you wanna take bald guy and use him as Manfred, go lang. You can use big hair lady and use as Isabella. So the Sepulchral Guard. Oh look, counts as skeleton warriors. That's it.
Because that's
Like
what they are.
yeah, they're garbage otherwise you just use them as skeleton warriors. Or grave guard. See this guy and this guy and this guy. You can use them as grave guard. But others are just skeleton warriors. Really, honestly, eh. Vargeists, Mikey's favorite.
Vargas!
Right, they're super fragile with a 5+ save, but they do have deep strike. So that's how you protect them. You protect them with deep strike and fell bats.
And when
So
they
if you're
hit,
taking these
they hit
guys, you're taking fell
hard.
bats. Yeah, but when they hit hard. Their battle line in Legions of Nagash. But I would honestly rather bring more Blood Knights.
Yeah. But in Warcry, you want the flying version over the. You
Yeah.
want the flying vampires.
Yeah, I'm not saying the Vargas are bad, the Vargas are good. Kaya lang, they're just outshone.
Right. And they die quick.
Now, the Vargskir is somehow not a monster. You
Even
bring
though
it
it looks like.
because it does a 3d6 charge roll um that we lost in the codex when Nagash's bone bodyguards went away to Askirk Bone Reapers. For Vargas, you want to go Legion of Night so that they become battle line. But you can bring them anywhere, honestly, because their deep strike is not limited to Legions of Night. So the Virkus Bloodborne are Vampire Nighthawk ripoffs from MTG. They're basically worse Vargeists and they don't fly. So why bother? You don't bother. They're just bad. The Mortis engine has a once per game blast that deals mortal wounds all around it, except for death units, and it makes magic better within 12 inches. It's no longer an auto include with the loss of the Legion of Sacrament because it used to have this really cool Legion of Sacrament or Scroll Battalion with this, some Necromancers and Arcan. But Arcan is gone from this book, so it's not really that good anymore. The Varg skier is automatically Virkos. All of the Curse City exclusive ones are Virkos. This one is actually not as fragile except for the those ghosts on top. Those keep snapping off. They're pretty damn annoying. And if you do get this kit, you can take that guy out and use him as a necromancer, which I do. So this is the terror guys. He's a giant undead bat. He is somehow 5 points more expensive than the flesh eater courts for slightly weaker. But he is good in Avengori, where it is both battle line and can take mutations to make it more survivable. You should also take it with a Vengorian Lord if doing Avengori. And Eric hates this because it murders the shit out of his flying boats. So if you're fighting Caradron overlords, especially Eric, you bring Terrorgeists.
One, they are usable in Warcry campaigns if
Yeah,
you're
but as
any
an
of the
ano, 'di ba? As a are they
you can totally take them on your side. You can
you
totally
can
take
take
them on
them
your
on your
side
side. Okay, that's pretty cool.
for narrative play only because they cost they're like a third of your warband, so they're
Fair
only
enough.
allowed in narrative play.
That's fair. That's fair.
They're
Now,
explicitly banned from match play. Thankfully,
sad. Now the
including
zombie
that zombie
dragon.
dragon,
Yeah.
including the zombie dragon. It's pretty wild.
So the zombie dragon. If you're fielding the zombie dragon without a rider, you are doing it wrong. If you want a monster for your Avengori battle line, just do the terror, guys. Honestly, the zombie dragon is inferior in every way, and it makes me sad because I love dragons. We're hoping for a better undead dragon with the dragon release, and Anasta Malkorian coming with a baby dragon. So I am hoping for like an undead character dragon or just an undead big dragon. The vampire lord that comes on the zombie dragon comes within the kit. So kasama na siya.
Hey, that's
It
good to
also
know.
comes with the flesh eater court's ghoul king. So you also get a separate ghoul king for free from that kit. It's very sulit.
Because I actually
So
like the vampire lord on the one that's sitting on the dragon. Like that specific vampire lord looks
you like
really
it?
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also the same vampire lord as Vordry. You just put the helmet on him. Yeah.
Oh.
So for allies, Night Hunt not much synergy because they only focus on buffing their own summonable units. So pass on this. Flesh Eater Courts are a better choice of allies than Night Hunt, pero I think you should be running pure FEC or pure Soulblight. Honestly, um, pure FEC is very viable on its own as well as pure SPGL. So I really don't want you to be cross playing because they don't really support each other that well. Um, Drog Fort Kika is the Mega Gargant ally for death. Um, Meh. Honestly, meh. They're meh for allies. We honestly lack something of like a Mega Gargant caliber outside Nagash. So it's worth consideration even though the Gatebreaker Mega Gargant's role has been taken by every monster because all monsters can now destroy terrain. So, rule of cool, pay what you want. This is a list conceptualized by Eric.
What?
So, yeah, it's literally
That's
Belladama
wild.
and every single guy he she had sex with over the past like 100 something years.
Okay.
So, we actually mathed the cost of a Belladama Volga and nothing but dire
Direwolves.
wolves. Yeah, we mathed it for 2,000 points. It will cost you around 36,000 pesos.
Well, that's reasonable. That's actually very reasonable. That's around the actual price of a full army.
No, it's it's more expensive.
Is it not? Sorry, I'm talking in 40K terms. Like,
No, a full 40k army will cost you like 10 to 20
what?
unless you're playing guard or orcs or admech. As long as you're not playing horde. But honestly, like 36,000 pesos.
That's a lot of wolves.
That's a lot of wolves. If you want to save some money, you're gonna shaft like 3 units of wolves. These are not all the wolves, like in that list. There's just a lot more. You can shaft like 3 units of wolves and put in like Radukar the Beast if you want to save some money. But then Radukar the Beast also has to summon wolves, so you have to buy another set.
Just get blood knights.
Yeah, honestly, Vordry, Vampire Dragon, and then fill the rest of your slots up with Blood Knights is a viable army, and it's quite competitive.
Right. Sure.
Yeah,
Cyber
but don't
wolves.
play Space Wolves, they're furries. So, Buyer's Guide to Soulblight Gravelords Warcry. Teacher Mikey.
Yep. So exactly what it says on the cover. If you want to play with the good stuff, you're gonna get everything here, except the death rattle skeletons. You could, if you really wanted to. These are all your options. You know? But if I were to just recommend what's good, no, start with the Vampire Lord. That's why it's on leftmost. Start with the Vampire Lord, then go up to the Crypt Flayers, get the Blood Knights, totally skipped over everything at the bottom. So I'm so sorry, the Walker Zombies. You're good. You're okay. But the Grave Guard. Okay, so if you want to go the optimal route, take the top route. But always start with the Vampire Lord, end with the Soulblight Gravelord. Skip over everything at the bottom. But you can also start on the rightmost end. Just get the Soulblight Gravelord, start collecting. You're golden, and you can stop there. But the best stuff, it's all on top. And you can include and do include the Soulblight Gravelord. Start
Michael, we can
collecting.
order them again. They're back in stock. So just
Cool,
let
cool.
me know if you want Blood Knights. So an alternate cash recommendation would be to get the Necromancer first, and then to just buy individual kits of Graveguard before
Pwede
you
din.
get the Crypt players, yeah,
Sure.
and then the
If
Vampire Lord.
Yeah, but you also one of the reasons I recommended start collecting because you get the White King on Skeletos.
Yeah, but you get the the Black Knights.
Yeah, the Black Knights kind of suck. No, not
Yeah,
kind of. They
they
do
suck.
suck.
Like um let's not mince words. They just suck. They've sucked for 3 editions.
Yeah, so yeah, go with the cash recommendation. Make sure you do get the Blood Knights and standalone Graveguard, right?
Honestly, you just need one box and you're done for Warcry.
Yeah. But to answer your question about how many points you'll have left over. If you build the entire box and build one as a leader, so it's a legal unit, you will still have. 90 points left over. And that's good for one Graveguard, I guess.
Lol.
You're good. Six
All right, so
models.
buyer's guide to Soulblight Gravelords. Of course, you have to buy Nagash. But the general recommendation is you start with the Soulblight Gravelords, start collecting. Then you choose which battle line you want. If you want to go zombies, if you want to go direwolves, or you want to go skeletons, and then you fill the rest of your list up with blood knights. But you also want to bring other stuff, right? So the alternate recommendation is actually buying, start collecting flesh eater quartz. Now hear me out. In the flesh eater quartz, you got a bunch of crypt ghouls, which you can convert into zombies. Especially
Fair
if you
enough.
already have like a zombie kit, you can kit bash them. Then you also have the crypt flare box, which makes vargeists. And you
Yes!
also have the zombie dragon kit, which makes you your vampire lord on zombie dragon. So Mikey, it has everything you actually want to start playing. The Vargeist and the Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the best way to start Soulblight Gravelords, in my opinion, is start collecting Flesh Eater cards.
And to think that the best, one of the best units for SBG, even in Warcry, comes from Flesh Eater Quartz kit.
Yep,
That's
the
crazy.
Vargeist. It's there.
That's
So
crazy. That's
it
all.
depends if you want to do narrative play and want to use the Zombie Dragon. Otherwise, no, no.
Yeah, kasi
You get Vargeists, pero zombies are meh.
your opponent will have to agree and should also have their own monster if you want to play with the zombie dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it'll be a very lopsided affair. That that one monster on your side is gonna wipe the floor with your stuff unless they
Yeah,
also have their own monster. So not recommended for
yeah.
Warcry, I think.
So anyway, Soulblight Rewards, after you got your basics, after you have your choice of battle line, after you have Nagash, and after you have Blood Knights, you have to choose what dynasty you're going for, and you get characters accordingly. If you want to do Castelli and focus more on the Blood Knights, um, a Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon will not do you wrong, especially if you're using Vordrai. If you're using Legion of Night, you still get the Flesh Eater Quartz box to get the Vargas. You have some zombies, and you have Vampire Lord and Zombie Dragon, and then you should get yourself a Manfred. If you're going for Legion of Night, you skip this box. You skip the Flesh Eater Quartz box, and instead you have to go for the Coven Throne. You have to go for Neferata, a lot of web store in your future, and then you have to go Death Rattle. If you want to go Virkos, you just buy the Virkos characters, particularly Radukar and Belladama. You buy at least 20 to 30 of these guys because you will need Vlad's gone, Michael. Just accept it. Vlad is gone. He's dead. Like they did not bring him back. So you bring at least 20, but you should have like an extra few in order to replace the models that Belladama kills, because that's what you're using Belladama for. Then you also want to bring zombies, and so yeah, this kit again. Honestly, Flesh Eater Quartz box, really good value. If you want to go Avengori, Flesh Eater Quartz box, really good
Crazy. The best box for Soulblight
value. Light
Gravelords in
Grave Lords is
AOS is Flesh Eater Quartz.
indeed, it's Flesh Eater Quartz, and it's not just me. You will see this recommendation everywhere. You'll see this recommendation on 1D4chan. You'll see it on Reddit. It's straight up the way to start Soulblight Gravelords. Yeah, it's Flesh Eater Gravelords. But not saying that the start collecting Soulblight Gravelords is bad. You do get a shit ton of Graveguard, and 20 Graveguard with great swords will blend things. Um,
And
However,
you
the
want them for
White
Warcry.
King, while cool, is actually pretty cool, but is while cool looking is not as cool in game, and the Black Knights are utter garbage. And yes, Patrick, who paid for rent this month naman, while Michael paid for Michael paid for salaries, says everything. Yeah, as BGL, just honestly choose a character that you want to build around, or choose a sub faction that you want to build around, and that's how you start. It's not like doing something like Orox, where if you're doing Cruel Boys, there's really only one good sub faction for them. If you're doing Iron Jaws, there's really only one good. Like all of them are playable, not necessarily tournament competitive. Competitive for tournament right now are Virkos and Castelli. Castelli Blood Knight spam. Yeah.
Blood Knights for days.
Yeah, it's fine. Virkos is good, and you have the number one zombie support unit in Mr. Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare.
And you're
So,
good for Warcry.
yeah.
No regrets there. No regrets.
So Kesha Soulblight Gravelords. Here's the one I painted up as a warband from Curse City lang lahat. This is the Necromancer. Then I have my Skeleton Warriors. Then I thought like dire wolves were playable in Warcry, but apparently they're not. And
Sad.
I was so salty and so sad. But yeah, there's a
Sad.
Space Marine Scout there, just doing scouty things. But yeah, so it current price for Nagash. Let me get back to you after we get to the Nagash pictures. Okay, so this is my Raducarda Beast. I actually have my own special blend for the skin, which is like contrast medium, Rakarth flesh, and skeleton horde with a certain mix. So you can mix it together and see what concentrations work for you. The base is just the GW Valhalla and Blizzard. But honestly, I have switched from Valhalla and Blizzard to Army Painter Snow Battlefield, which is a better deal. It's cheaper all around and just need some glue. Honestly, better. Don't bother with Valhalla and Blizzard unless you want to do effects like the snow here on the rock. You want it to stick there. That's where I would use Valhalla and Blizzard. I wouldn't use it for the base itself. You want to use it for places where the snow has fallen but has started to melt because you want it to stick without having like a heavy layer of glue. Now this is my Mortis engine slash Coven Throne with my custom vampire necromancer lady, which is based off like a wood elf model because I am doing like a sub faction of blood elves, which are vampire elves. So more on that when I finish them later this year. And of course, this is my Nagash that won the a painting competition.
That's super
And
nice.
yes, so
And it's clean.
I
So
promised to
clean.
get the price for Nagash. Wait lang. Let me use my calculator. Okay, Michael, he is 5625. So Nagash is currently 5625. For the ghost, for this Nagash, I really followed to the letter Duncan Rhodes's Nagash tutorial. It took me like 3 months to paint this guy on and off. So if you search on YouTube like Duncan how to paint Nagash, that's how you paint that Nagash. I really just followed like our Lord and Savior Duncan Rhodes. Now, calendar sama. We only have one thing left for October, which is the Halloween Tambay special, and we will be showing you our November calendar tomorrow. So
Yeah.
We will be going in costume. Teacher Mikey, may costume ka na?
Wala pa. Tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll think of a costume.
If wala kang mahanap na costume, like just put a kumot over your head and go as a ghost.
Woo.
Woo!
Let's see. Let's see. I
Night
need to go out
haunt!
anyway. I'm a
Okay.
night haunt.
Yeah, Mr. Doctor already has one. I have something planned, so we'll be in costume tomorrow. Teacher Mikey, when you
We'll be
enter the
drinking.
stream yard, please do change your name to whatever your costume is.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For a fun.
I'll be inebriated when it happens.
Yeah, Teacher
For
Mikey
sure.
will be drinking tomorrow. We'll also be showing you guys what we have been assembling and painting for this month, so that you can see our progress. Like Mr. Doctor has been working on his Seraphon just in time for faction focused Seraphon next month. We're also doing Night Hunt with Michael, and yeah, that's it for yeah. It is for October because we're showing November next tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So yeah, yeah. We're just showing you guys that tomorrow is the Halloween Tambay special, and
Please
we
stand
will
by
be
with us.
revealing our November calendar on the morrow. So thank you for watching, everyone, and that's our last faction focus for November. Starting next month, we will be having faction focuses for War Machine, featuring Mr. Jonathan
Whoa.
Lansang, who will be reading rules. Yes,
He can read.
yeah, he can read. He just doesn't like
John
to.
can read.
Yeah, John hates reading, but he can.
I
Like
thought
he
he
has
just
been
listened to
caught.
audiobooks.
Yeah, he has been caught by Eric reading the AOS core rules. So
Oh, that's almost as bad as reading Prawn. Just this.
yes.
Caught in the act of reading
How did you
Prawn.
memorize it anyway? You read it.
Yeah, you can't fool us, John. You're a closet reader.
Zarek, I actually also painted Zarek. We'll show you Zarek during our faction focus Necrons, which is also next month. So just wait for tomorrow and we will reveal
Yeah,
our
we're not gonna spoil
calendario.
the November
Yeah,
calendar
yeah,
yet.
yeah, yeah,
Tomorrow.
yeah.
Plan for
November
tomorrow.
calendar is really, really nice.
Yes. You
Um,
watch tomorrow, so you get
yeah,
to see the
December
November
calendar
calendar.
is also we're actually done with December calendar, and I'm really excited for December calendar because
We're super
December we're
prepared.
yeah December we're doing Titanicus.
Oh, oh, you spoiled it, but it's
Nah,
fine.
it's
There's
fine. Like I wanna hype people. Like guys, December we're doing Titanicus.
You're gonna hype everyone's wallets for
Yeah, that's
December.
that's that's literally my job to make sure Michael keeps paying for rent and
You know how
salaries.
wild December is gonna be. We're gonna get the Christmas battle forces. We're gonna get the roadmap for the
Mhm.
codices and armies for 40K
It's gonna be
in
wild.
early 2022. Oh, by the way, we're just a few days away from the Warcry preview, the big Warcry preview. That's gonna be this weekend as well. So
Yes. So abangan, abangan, abangan. I'm personally waiting for the Adeptus Titanicus Traitor Legio's book. I'm begging G Dub for please give me Legio's Stobiax. But if
right,
they don't, I will just be sad again. But yeah, big reveal week this weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Halloween Tambay special. There will also be a stock run tomorrow. So everyone who ordered Anastamal Korean, you can get them tomorrow afternoon once I get them in. And there's also gonna be a bunch of stuff coming in. So abangan, abangan, abangan. And we
exciting.
will see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, please like
So
and subscribe to our different social
yes,
media
like and subscribe,
accounts and streaming platforms. So you can
and
always
we will
catch us live
yes, stay spooky, boys and girls. Ciao.
and paint those minis. Goodbye.
Yes, and base those minis, Mike.
No! End the broadcast. Enough with the heresy. Enough with those heresies.
Base your
We
minis.
are ending this broadcast now.
All right,
I did
goodbye.
it did not happen.